What is up, my guys? Benoit here. Welcome to Tactical Fellowship. So I've sunk a lot of my hard-earned dollars and time into the 320 platform. And I've also made a bunch of 320 content over the years. Odds are good you've even seen some of it. Especially that one right there, the mechanical deep dive I did. It continues to boil and bubble and draw eyeballs and opinions. Needless to say, a lot has happened in the 4.5 years since I filmed that. Which brings me to the point of today's video. Why I think you should not buy a Sig P320. Before we get to that though, if you could go ahead and stick your thumb up YouTube's anti-gun loving hole by liking and subscribing, because it's just not the same without you here. And be sure to visit the kit page before this video ends. It's the heart and soul of this project and where I do all the work for you. But whatever you decide to do, if you could at least use my buttons at the top of the page, that to me would be a click of good cheer and will keep my doors open. 2 Taco Bell. In your lifetime, you will never see a cluster stink like this of this size ever again. All right, let's dive right in. Reason number 1 why you should not buy a Sig P320 is too many cases of it going off uncommanded. And even if you're skeptical of some of these cases, as I am, there's just too many cases and too much weirdness. Look, I believe everything I offered up, mechanically speaking, in my video is technically accurate. It just no longer holds any water. It appears to me, at least, that the worst case scenario is happening, that you have multiple parts that are out of spec, thus negating the safety layers of this gun. And as statistically improbable as it is, at some point you gotta start trusting your eyeballs. To me, it's also worth noting that this is more than just a trigger issue. Adding a blade safety, as this one has from Agency Arms, is absolutely a prudent measure against accidental trigger pulls. But this is not going to solve an uncommanded holster ND. The case in point here is going to be the death of Airman Braden Lovin while on duty at Warren Air Force Base, Wyoming. This is, quite frankly, this is a watershed moment for this gun. It's a situation that none of us can or should ignore. He placed a holstered M18, which has a manual safety, on a flat surface, and that set it off, striking this 21-year-old patriot in the chest and killing him. If you're wondering why he had the muzzle facing him at all, and perhaps that he was in the wrong for placing it down in the orientation that he did, I want to remind you that a holstered gun is basically the equivalent of a cased gun. And as far as muzzle orientation is concerned, when it is holstered, it's safe. Braden Lovin's gun shouldn't have fired, but it did. If it's not holster safe, it's not safe. Because of this, I don't even actually feel good using my Flux Raider at this point, because you had a safetied M18 that without a trigger press went off, and so you have a manual safetied Flux Raider, and logic follows that this too could also go off. So too many cases and too much weirdness. Point number 2 why you should not buy a Sig P320. Sig. So the way that I know that it ends today, dear Sig, is that I stopped seeing videos of P320s going off. But I'm not seeing less. I'm actually seeing more. Matter of fact, everybody's doing it now.
We'll see if it goes off.
And I think you and I, dear viewer, know that Sig knows that they are absolutely boxed in. To admit anything is to admit culpability, and to admit culpability ends them as a business, and this is why they cannot say anything. They're done. Matter of fact, I think that they are already done. I think that the public perception, as far as that's concerned, they're cooked. And to back that up, this is actually one of the reasons why I think one of their industry rivals, Glock, simplified their product line not too long ago. Glock is perfectly positioned to pick up Sig's market collapse. And this is absolutely going to affect the 365 as well. The 365 will not escape unscathed from this. Beyond that, man, good luck if your business model was based off of the 320. Dude, Lena Michalek, like, what does her off-ramp look like? And then you got the thousands of consumers that aren't dialed in to this niche thing like you and I. And they're going to walk into a gun store this week and walk out with a shiny brand new P320, not even realizing what they've bought. There's 2.5 million of these things in circulation, and I bet 97% of all owners have zero clue any of this is going on. So reason number 1, too many cases, too much weirdness. Reason number 2, Sig in general. And to close, guys, I'm just a normal dude making the best no-nonsense decisions I can make with the data I have on hand without becoming a CAD engineer. You can do whatever you want, homie. That is completely up to you. But for me, I am not going to posture and pretend that what is going on is irrelevant and doesn't affect my shooting habits. Life's too short to shoot guns that might shoot you through no fault of your own. It's as simple as that. Sig Corporate can say whatever they want, but I personally no longer shoot or use my 320s. And because I have so much content out there with the 320, I wanted to get that statement out there. And that hurts because I paid for all this crap with my own hard-earned cash money. What am I going to do with this stuff now? This sucks. So how about we do this? For fun, how about you comment below and let me know what you plan on doing with your P320s. And if you could, like this video. Share this video. Let's start stacking some wins for the gun team here at Tactical Fellowship. Check out the kit page before you leave. And as always, ride fast, shoot straight, get off the couch and into some Tactical Fellowship. And we'll see you next time.